Hi Taylor, in this video I'm going to show you how to get rid of the black bar on your slide. So I've created a site using Peddlar just like you have on your client site, and I've got the slide and I'm just now realizing it doesn't have a title on yours, so let me update it with no title. And I've got a nice picture here of one of my favorite online cats, Grumpy Cat. So in order to get rid of this black bar, what we have to do is we have to actually cut it out of the code. So there's code somewhere that is telling this black bar to be there, and we need to tell it to stop doing that, or we need to get rid of that piece of code. So I'm going to show you a little trick that developers use when working with websites, and that is called inspect element. So you'll need to be in Chrome. Make sure that you're using Chrome to do this, because I don't know how to do it in Firefox. It's possible, but I just am not very familiar with it, and I don't think the tools are as helpful for beginners, so please use Chrome. What you're going to do is you're going to right-click on the black bar, and you're going to scroll down and choose Inspect Element. And that's going to bring up this code preview. It's sort of like we're seeing the code that runs the site here on the bottom. This right here is the HTML and all of the content. So you can see when I scroll over it, it shows you what box is selected, what piece of content or what content area. Over here on the right, this is called CSS, Cascading Style Sheets. They're kind of like swatches in InDesign. They change the colors and the size and the type of different elements, and then they're named. So in InDesign, if you want all these boxes, let's say you put boxes on a page and you want all of them to be blue, you can go into swatches, make a blue swatch, and then apply it to all the boxes. If you want to change it from blue to red, you just change the swatch and all of the boxes will change to red. That's what's happening over here in the CSS. For example, here's something called Home Flex Slider, Slide Content Header. So I happen to know that's this little guy here, and it's saying the width. So if I wanted to change the width of the header on all the images, I could do that over here. But we're actually trying to get rid of an element. We're not trying to make it a different color or give it a different typeface. We're trying to get rid of it. So what we want to do is figure out where that is in the code, and I'm going to show you so that you can just follow along. The only reason I'm explaining this is because I want you to get a sense of what you're doing. You'll be able to accomplish it by following along, but I want you to just sort of see how this works, because I think that you will pick it up really quickly. So you can see I have all these different areas, and if I hover over one, the area is selected. So I'm just going to hover until I get to that header area that I don't want. So here's an area called Slide Content, and it's highlighting, the browser's highlighting that black box, and I don't want that black box. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to press delete, and it's going to take that away. And I can now see what my page looks like without that section. Well, that doesn't make it permanent. This is just a little previewer. We want to make this permanent. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to refresh the page. I'm going to right-click and do Inspect Element and pull up that header again. And I need to find whatever it is that's making that. So here, it's a little area. It's called Div Class Slide Content. Well, div, D-I-V, is just a little HTML term for division, which in this case means boxes. So every time I hover over a new division, you'll see that a new box is selected. So here's a division, here's a division, here's a different division, here's another division, here's another division, and then there's more. So what we want to do is take that division out. So right here, here's the name of it. Slide-content is the division that we don't want. So we need to go into the code, find that division, and get rid of it. So let's go into the code. To get into the code, you're going to go to your dashboard, you're going to hover over Appearance, and then select Editor. And this is going to show you all of the pages that make up your site. So these are all the different types of pages you have, or all the different pieces of code. We're going to try to find the front page, right? Because our thing that we don't want is in the front page. Well, I actually don't entirely know where it is. My best guess is there's usually a file called index or main index. So I'm going to scroll until I see that, and I see it right here. So I'm going to click on main index, and I'm going to search for slide content. And I'm not seeing slide content in here. So where else could it be? Well, what is it in? It's in the slider. So I'm going to see if maybe there's a file called slider, something like that. See, we've got timeline, sitemap, contact, la la la. Here's a file called featured slider. That kind of sounds like it might be it. So I'm going to click featured slider and I'm going to look for slide content, and there it is. That is what I want to get rid of. So we see the same thing that we saw on the site when we did inspect element. We see div class equals slide content. That's what we want to get rid of. But actually, we need to get rid of more than this line. The way HTML works is anytime you start something, you have to end it. Because these are boxes, our divisions are boxes, we have to say when the division starts and when it ends. So you can see here, this is saying the division starts. And then down here, we see slash div. Well, this little icon, or this little piece of type right here, the slash means end. So we have start division, end division. So we're going to get rid of that whole section. So we're going to press delete, update the file, and now when I go to my site and I refresh it, that division doesn't exist anymore. We got rid of it, so it's all gone. If you have any questions about how to make this change or about HTML or CSS, since I've shown you a little bit of it, I would be glad to answer them for you. But this is a pretty simple fix. The hardest thing really is trying to find the name of what you're getting rid of and then figuring out where it is, because we didn't make this theme, so we don't know where the person put that division, but we were able to find it. So you can do the same at home to get rid of that black box, and you can now use this technique on anything. If, for example, you don't want these leave a comment, continue reading, I mean, you kind of need continue reading, but let's say you don't want leave a comment, you can inspect the element, you can figure out what it is, so it's a little span called comments, and then we can find where that is in the back end and delete it, and that won't be there anymore. So this is a technique that you can use for pretty much anything on your site, but you're going to use it to get rid of that black bar and get that picture looking just like you want it.